good evening to you all, and thank you for joining us here on Rwanda Television News this Thursday evening. Now, we do hope you had yourselves a productive day. Here's a sneak peek of our edition. Mozambique's President Daniel Chapo concluded his two-day state visit to Rwanda, highlighting that both nations need direct flight connections to enable private sector players from both countries to fully harness the opportunities presented by their bilateral cooperation. The Minister of Interior, Dr. Vincent Biruta, called on women working in the Rwanda Correctional Service to make the most of the opportunities provided to them in order to further improve their profession and advance themselves. On the international scale, the UN has warned of a looming famine in the besieged capital of Sudan's North Darfur region. 130,000 children are among those trapped in El Fasher. We are honored to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali, and my name is Martina Abera. Let us begin by informing you that Mozambique's President Daniel Chapo concluded his two-day state visit to Rwanda, highlighting that both nations need direct flight connections to enable private sector players from both countries to fully harness the opportunities presented by their bilateral cooperation. We have more coming from Adam Squizera.
On the second day of his visit to Rwanda, President Daniel Chapo of Mozambique held roundtable discussions brought together Rwanda's top private sector leaders for direct engagement with President Chapo and his team, creating a platform to explore new avenues for bilateral trade and investment. The CEO of the Rwanda Development Board, RDB, Jean-Guy Africa, stated that the agreements signed between the two countries on the first day of the visit not only reaffirm existing cooperation, but also call upon private sector actors to put them into practice in order to boost the economic growth of both nations.
The MOU establishes a practical framework for trade and investment promotion. It identifies priority sectors, including agro-processing, tourism, health, ICT, and infrastructure, among others. Crucially, it places the private sector at the center through the creation of a joint working group to ensure rapid translation of commitments into action.
The chairperson of the Rwanda Private Sector Federation, Jean Mubigi, emphasized that achieving sustainable development and maximizing the benefits of the agreements between the two countries requires active involvement of the private sector.
From today's exchange, it is clear that our two nations share enormous potential. Rwanda's private sector is ready to forge partnerships that benefit both our economies. From trade and investment to joint ventures and knowledge exchange, the potential for collaboration between Rwanda and Mozambique is both exciting and promising.
President of Mozambique, Daniel Chapo, presented to Rwanda private sector the vast investment opportunities Mozambique is endowed with, particularly in agriculture, trade, tourism, among others. He further stressed that such cooperation aligns with the implementation of the CFTA.
It's also a platform so that we can discuss how to work our resources and the opportunities between two countries. And the AFCTA that is in our hands, we can use it. And I want to also talk about the strategic areas from Mozambique that offer opportunities for partnership between Mozambican and Rwandan business people. Start with the agriculture and agro-processing. Mozambique has vast fertile land, and we want to support or to to supply not only to Rwanda but to all over the world, especially in cereals like maize, rice, beans, sugar, and soya. In the area of energy and natural resources, we are the biggest in the energy in Africa, and we have a big potential in renewable energies because we have rivers that go across the country from north to south.
President Chapo has also called for a direct air connection between Mozambique and Rwanda to ease travel and enhance trade and investment opportunities between the two countries.
Here in Africa, we have this challenge of linking our countries through air services. Countries in Africa that for somebody to travel to a neighboring country, first you have to go to Europe to come back to Africa. And sometimes people have to fly to Doha to come back to Africa. So even for us to come here, we had to go first to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to come back to Kigali. Or we could have traveled through Johannesburg in South Africa to come to Kigali. So I spoke about this yesterday with the President Paul Kagame, that there is a need for us to have this aerial link between Maputo, Kigali, Kigali, Maputo.
On the second day of his visit, President Chapo also visited Kigali Special Economic Zone, located in Gasabo district, where he visited industries including the textile company, Mango Pink, and Gasabo Gold Refinery. On Thursday afternoon, President Paul Kagame bid farewell to Mozambican President Daniel Chapo at Kigali International Airport, marking the conclusion of his two-day working visit to Rwanda. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adam, for that report. Moving ahead, the Minister of Interior, Dr. Vincent Biruta, called on women working in the Rwanda Correctional Service to make the most of the opportunities provided to them in order to further improve their profession and advance themselves. He made the remarks during the 6th Forum of Women in RCS. This annual forum aims to bring together women working in corrections to exchange ideas on the challenges they face and to find ways to enhance their work performance. According to CSP Hilary Sengabu, the spokesperson of RCS, the forum has, over the past 6 years, helped women in the institution provide better services. The Commissioner General of RCS, CG Evariste Murenzi, said that the institution is committed to promoting women and the number of women within the RCS to continue to grow. The Minister of Interior, Dr. Vincent Biruta, urged women working in RCS to take advantage of the opportunities given to them to improve their profession and empower themselves. About 100 participants attended the Forum of Women in RCS. Students who have completed vocational studies at the Kwigira Training Center in Rwanda district note that they have acquired skills that will help them to create their own jobs and contribute to national development. A total of 150 students graduated after receiving free training in various trades at the center, and they described the knowledge gained as a strong foundation for their future lives. Their parents also expressed confidence in them, noting that those who pursue vocational and technical training usually find employment immediately, including through self-employment. Sheikh Saila Habimana, the head of the Umbrella for Vulnerable organization that founded the center, has stated it will continue supporting the residents of Rwamagana district with a focus on those from low-income families.
The funds are already available. Once papers are on the table, we shall be able to build another Kwigira TVET in Munyiginya sector, double capacity of what we have right now. If you have 150 students right now, we are talking about 300 to 400 students.
The Vice Mayor in charge of economic affairs in Rwanda District, Richards Kagabo, observed that schools teaching technical and vocational skills are a strong foundation for development.
Indeed, the foundation of this school came timely when His Excellency Paul Kagame was advocating for a Rwandan who stands firm, resilient, and able to deliver accordingly. So we are reaffirming this philosophy again, that building skills, combining them with values of humanity that they are being trained here, will bring these soft skills and hard skills to the market of attracting customers to themselves. This is the whole philosophy of self-reliance, of which is expected among such students, and actually affirms the policy of building a Rwandan who is able to stand the pressures and of the market and the demands of the people around us.
The Kwigira Training Center supports youth from underprivileged families by equipping them with skills to start businesses in various trades. The graduates who completed their courses on Thursday make up the 11th cohort, having trained in tailoring, cooking, and electricity. Now, experts in women's health in Rwanda commend the government measures that have led to a 40% reduction in maternal deaths since the year 2000, though they note that more efforts are still needed. They made these remarks as members of their association gathered for the 11th annual conference, which also marked 11 years since the establishment of the society. Enora Gladys has more.
While celebrating the 11th annual scientific conference of Rwanda Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, its president, Dr. Victor Mivumbi, explained that over these years, they have achieved significant milestones, such as contributing to the training and increasing the number of specialists in collaboration with the Ministry of Health.
That was already a long journey because we had to work hand in hand with the few people who were available at that time. So we established curriculum for universities, and also we make training sites a work environmental, which means equipping hospitals, upgrading the essential medicine. So together we were able already to improve the quality of care for women's health. Despite that, we still have some issues because we still having some maternal death which could be preventable. So we still have a long way to go to avoid and reduce maternal death, which are preventable.
The newly elected president of the International Federation of Gynecology and Obstetrics, Professor Frank Lowen, acknowledged the society for making a major contribution to safeguarding maternal health through the expertise of its members.
It's a very young society, and it is unbelievably impressive to see what they have done just within the last decade. They stepped up for women's health. They are the main contributor to reduce maternal mortality in your country. And it is impressive to see how they keep the pace. These people are not just only well trained, they have the commitment to women's health.
While the Deputy Director General of Rwanda Biomedical Center, Jean Omuhire, highlighted that the society has facilitated collaboration within the health sector and contributed to the increase in the number of specialists.
Since the foundation of this organization, the numbers have, 10 times forward. So we're speaking with the professionals today. We're awarded the founding members of RSOG and realized that the numbers have, when they started, there were 13 professionals as part of this organization, and now there are 10 times more, so 100 and plus members. So this is a really, I want to say that it's something that we can see solidly that exemplifies what we want a professional body of medical practitioners to be ambitious with us, on behalf of us, and to push us policymakers to actually support them. So by working with RSOG, we realize that the professionals are here, and it's up to the health policymakers to actually support them and even go beyond what they envision. Thanks to RSOG's contribution, we're seeing the number of professionals that are aspiring to be a part of this specialty be even more, so be reinforced, be even more, be a part of this profession.
This 11th annual scientific conference of this society was celebrated under the theme Transforming Women's Health in Rwanda, Promoting Equity and Sustainability. Enra Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Now, following the Central Bank's Financial Stability Committee, which concluded that the system remains stable, resilient, and continues to grow despite growing economic and financial vulnerabilities, Umurenge SACCOs have strengthened their role as the backbone of Rwanda's financial inclusion drive, now holding over 6.3 million accounts and mobilizing deposits worth 511 billion Rwandan francs as of March 2025. William Evans Mutawazi has the report.
In a press release dated 21st August 2025, the Financial Stability Committee held its quarterly meeting to assess the performance of the financial system of Rwanda. The committee concluded that the system remains stable, resilient, and continues to grow, driven by a strong economic momentum.
The committee reviewed recent developments in Rwanda's financial system and assessed potential risks to stability. The financial sector continues to expand, driven by strong economic momentum. As of June 2025, as you can see, total financial sector assets grew by 23%, reaching 14 trillion. And growth was recorded across all sectors. Banks' assets increased by 23%. On the microfinance side, the increase was at 21%. While the pension sector assets also increased at 26% on the back of rise in contribution following recent changes in public pension contribution rates. Insurance sector's assets also rose by 18%, and this growth reflects overall a stable and deepening financial system.
According to Jackson Pikiriza, Executive Director of the Association of Microfinance Institutions of Rwanda, following the 2024 fiscal survey that showed that Rwanda had achieved 96% financial inclusion, efforts were shifted to increasing financial uptake.
When you look at the 96% on financial inclusion, it may interpret that people are using services, financial services provided. But when you go deep, the financial services usage, then you find the percentage is low. So what is being done, one is scaling of digital platforms. You've heard about shared platforms or core banking systems for the Umurenge SACCO, the upgrade with the district SACCOs as we speak, and I think we have around 9 district SACCOs already fully functioning. We're talking about different digital financial services that are integrated with the already existing core banking systems in microfinance limited companies. You are seeing the work that is being done by MNOs, MTN, Airtel, and other fintechs that are providing financial services. So that is accelerating the acquisition of loans by either MSMEs or cooperatives or even individual borrowers.
He adds that the consolidation of district SACCOs has also caused a drop in the interest rates from 24% to around 18-19%.
But with the consolidation of district SACCO, if you can see, you can go and check now all the district SACCOs that are there now. The interest rate is comparatively low compared to the Umurenge SACCO, from 24% to now around 18-19%. So that attracts clients and members of these SACCOs. So there is a lot ongoing, including, of course, developing different digital financial services, both rather digital and non-digital products. So the more you develop products that are centric or tailored to different segments of the population, the more you attract them to come and get loans from these financial service providers.
Residents said that compared to before, they now find it easier to access services, including loans.
Mbere byari bigoye, umuntu yarazaga bakarinda gushaka amafishe, ukabona kujya kubikuza niba ari amafaranga yawe ushaka ukabona rwose n'ibintu bigoye
At first, the process was very hard. You would come, then be required to look for registers, and if you are going to withdraw your money, it would be a lengthy process. But now, once you have arrived, you just give in your booklet and get whatever services you want, and then proceed with your other plans.
They are now offering better services because we no longer have to queue up. Now you can do
the latest figures show that Mlenje Circles have disbursed gross loans totaling to 619 billion Rwandan francs to nearly 589,000 borrowers. While accounts are almost evenly split between men and women, men secured nearly twice as many loans compared to women. This highlights a persistent gender gap in access to credit. William Evans, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, William Evans, for that report. And that marks the end of the stories on the local scene. Let us convene shortly after the commercial break for stories on the international scene.
You're going every day. With every pack, complementing life's best moments. Not one, not two, but 5 different fruity flavors. And this journey keeps giving. Introducing Inyanji's new fruity juice flavors, guava and cocktail. Now available at your nearest shop. Always ask for Inyanji.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka imwe, ariko ntiyigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njya muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byarangiye nanditse amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye ziba impamo. Bigereho.
Get ready for one of the biggest celebrations of the year. It's the 20th edition of Rwanda's iconic Kwitizina Gorilla Naming Ceremony, happening on Friday, September 5th, 2025, at the breathtaking foothills of Volcanoes National Park. Join thousands of guests, local communities, and international visitors as we honor Rwanda's newest mountain gorilla babies and celebrate 2 decades of conservation success. Celebrate the vibrant spirit of Rwanda. Join us for an unforgettable festival showcasing the best of Rwandan culture with traditional dances, live performances, and much more. Experience the heart and soul of Rwanda like never before. Come witness this global event where celebrities and conservation champions unite to name Rwanda's beloved gorillas. It's an experience like no other, a true celebration of conservation and culture. Mark your calendars and get ready for a week of exciting events. Be part of the story. Be part of the future of conservation. For more details, visit www.kwitizina.rw and be part of Rwanda's conservation legacy. Kwitizina 2025, where tradition meets celebration. Don't miss it.
Cervical cancer is one of the leading causes of death among women globally, including in Rwanda. Yet, it can be prevented through vaccination if the vaccine is taken early enough. That is why the Ministry of Health has established a program to vaccinate all girls against this cancer. The vaccine is now administered in a single dose only. It has been observed that some girls in Rwanda missed out on this vaccine, and thus a special campaign has been organized to provide the cervical cancer vaccine free of charge to girls aged 12 to 17 years who have never received it before. The campaign will run from August 4 to August 30, 2025 in all health centers across Rwanda. don't miss this opportunity. Dear parents, vaccinate your daughter on time, remembering that protecting her health is your responsibility. This message is from the Ministry of Health through the Rwanda Biomedical Center, RBC.
Welcome back to stories making headlines on the international scene. Over to Sudan. The UN has warned of a looming famine in the besieged capital of Sudan's North Darfur region. 130,000 children are among those trapped in El Fasher. For 16 months, the city has been under siege by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, who've been in a violent power struggle with the government for more than 2 years. Al Jazeera with the details.
What's being cooked in this cauldron is not regular human food. It's a local animal fodder called ambaz, made of the husk of pressed beans. The families here say they've run out of choices.
We are very tired of random shelling. We are so tired. Life is difficult and getting food is difficult. We can't find anything to eat.
El Fasher is the last major stronghold of the Sudanese army and its allied factions in the western region of Darfur. But it's been under siege by Rapid Support Forces for a year and a half now. The siege means little, if any, relief aid is allowed in. But the scope of the suffering stretches across Western Sudan. UNICEF issued a stark warning on Wednesday, saying that El Fasher has become a hotbed of malnutrition, disease and violence, claiming young lives every day. The statement adds that at least 600,000 people, half of them children, have been displaced from El Fasher and the surrounding camps in recent months. Inside the city, an estimated 260,000 civilians, including 130,000 children, remain trapped in desperate conditions. Over the last few months, hundreds of thousands of civilians fled El Fasher and the displacement camps around it. But they didn't fare better, with reports of deaths by hunger, thirst or deliberate killings along the desert trails or in new areas of displacement. Repeated calls by humanitarian groups for the world to come to the rescue of the victims and for the warring parties to try to put an end to the conflict are falling on deaf ears. Mohammed Val, Al Jazeera, Khartoum.
Over to Pakistan, weeks of record-breaking downpours have caused major flooding in parts of northern India and neighboring Pakistan. Hundreds of people have been killed during monsoon season and hundreds of thousands more have been displaced. Damage to roads, collapsed bridges and power outages in several areas have slowed rescue efforts and cut off entire communities. Al Jazeera once more.
The situation is indeed alarming after the fact that Pakistan saw some of its worst monsoon rains in the last 24 hours. A place on the border called Sialkot received 500 millimeters of rain in one day. Now already Pakistan's major water reservoirs, the hydroelectric projects at Torbela and Mangla, are full to capacity. They've had to open the floodgates there, and there are now reports that about over 700 villages along these rivers have been affected. These are three rivers, the Ravi that you see behind me, the Chenab and the Satluj, and also the fact that there is a threat of more water coming in. Now what Pakistan is saying is that India is weaponizing water after it held in abeyance a treaty, the Indus Water Treaty between the two countries, under which data was to be shared whenever there was a threat that the Indians would release excessive amount of water. They've been holding that water in their hydel projects upstream, and because of that, those dams were already full. Add to that the added rain, so India has released the waters, but they did not inform the Indus Water Treaty officials, which they're supposed to do. They're also supposed to share the amount of water that is coming in. So indeed, a very precarious situation here in Pakistan's Punjab province.
And Kamal, given the amount of water that's coming in, is there an expectation that there will be more devastation in the south?
Absolutely, because one must remember that these three rivers, which are now raging with full fury, are going to converge on the Indus down south. And that, of course, would threaten parts of Sindh. It will also affect southern Punjab. So indeed, a very dire situation. This river that you see behind me was just a trickle, because this was one of the eastern rivers that went to India. But right now, the Ravi is posing a threat to the low-lying areas of Lahore, which is also the provincial capital.
And that Al Jazeera story marks the end of our bulletin. Before we close off, let's have a recap of our headlines. Mozambique's President Daniel Chapo concluded his two-day state visit to Rwanda, highlighting that both nations need direct flight connections to enable private sector players from both countries to fully harness the opportunities presented by the bilateral cooperation. The Minister of Interior, Dr. Vincent Biruta, called on women working in the Rwanda Correctional Service to take the most of the opportunities provided to them in order to further improve their profession and advance themselves. On the international scale, the UN has warned of a looming famine in the besieged capital of Sudan's North Darfur region. And on that note, we have come to the end of tonight's English Bulletin. On behalf of the news production team as well as the technical team, thank you for sticking with us here on RTV News. My name is Martina Avera, and up until next time, stay safe and have a good night.